So we have a joint venture between
yeah, I will share my screen.
Netherlands and France, University of Paris. So Yves is professor in data science at the Faculty of Pharmacy of University of Paris Cité. And Slava, it's our friend here in Dataverse, is a senior information and data scientist at DANS and data archiving and network services from the Netherlands. So let's stop this. We'll speak. So I think I'm not sure if it's just you, Yves, or if you both do the presentation.
We will do both a presentation, but I will start. I will start with I have changed slightly the title. Do you see the slide?
Before
it was better?
Yes. Before it was working. Now
okay, so let's start like this. Let's make it like this. So I will introduce the COVID-19 Museum, and I think it can be a use case for the Dataverse community. So what is the COVID-19 Museum? We want to unite in an open way the collection of digital trace related to the pandemic, to offer the possibility of analyzing this trace in a reproducible way, and we will see why, and to protect the knowledge that will be extracted out of it. So just before to start the talk, I will stop the sharing of the screen and share something else, which is this little video. And this little video is just to show you which type of data we are thinking about. So this our children from Denmark concert who are playing at home during the pandemic. Why I show this? It's just in order to let you understand that what we are looking for are all type of data. So I will stop in order to
you need to stop in your side.
Stop the music as well. Wait. Yeah, here it is. Sorry. So
great.
What I want to show is really the diversity of the data we are looking for. And it's far away from epidemiologic data, it's far away from death cases or whatever, or contaminated people. It's about what has happened during the pandemic. So let's start. Why? The idea is to build a didactic, analytic, and memory tool to follow and understand the impact of COVID-19 on our society, to build the infrastructure of a collective memory and help the etching of a new social model, perhaps more resilient, perhaps more altruist, in order to protect the society in the future. How? By unifying the collection of numerical artifacts in a collaborative way, and I think you know exactly what is it, so I will not speak about this. Enrich from simple metadata, provide access to this database for everyone, and on request for research. And the database, access website, etc., will follow open science principle. Okay. We have crossed the first pandemic of the digital age, and for the first time through the digital material produced, it is possible, to follow, understand, and compare within each country the evolution of this emerging disease, the social reaction, and the individual political, medical reaction, everything. What you have seen on a daily basis, you have seen drawings, humor, videos, songs on every social network. We have seen a lot of research made, a lot of interviews, a lot of text arriving, and all these are collective testimonies. Also, naturally, we have all these administrative, legal, and technical documents that we have received on our head, at least for all people linked to type of institution. And okay, so unify the collection of digital artifacts in a database, develop the participatory with the public support, and offer access to all these objects. This is the Electronic Museum. On the top of this iceberg, you will have just a website for consultation, for search and knowledge extraction. So something very simple that we are used to imagine. Okay. What is the interest? The interest is to cover cultural education and research aspect. So we will develop a tool for storage, for preservation, but also for classification and filling. It will be a didactic tools. It is this museum that we are visiting with our teacher when we were young. So you have a teacher who explains you can see this, you can see that related to this period, explaining what was the period. But it could be also an analytical tools accessible for researchers, either in social science, health science, or digital science, any researchers. So what we have seen some changes in behavior. We have seen plenty of new response to this pandemic. New response meaning new opportunity, such that we could compare from country to country, from region to region, what was the difference in the reaction. Also, we can synchronize this comparison because we have a beginning of a lockdown, first lockdown, end of the first lockdown, etc., etc. So there is an interest to provide this idea. So now the question is how we can build a such COVID-19 museum. And the COVID-19 museum is something like this. You have a COVID-19 museum who developed a software which can be installed either on collection, such that these collections are connected to the COVID-19 museum, or it can be installed on computing resources, such that these computing resources will provide a part of their potential to help researchers to look inside the COVID-19 museum. And they can naturally be installed on computer of a researcher, just in order that the researcher can ask a query in order to look inside the COVID-19 museum. Okay, just a simple example first. I call it memory pedagogy and analytics. It's just to recall you that the lockdown for 4 to 5 years child has represented almost 10% of his life. So let's imagine that during the lockdown, some children has made some drawings, and that parents or grandparents drop these drawings into the COVID-19 museum. So the drawings form a memorial corpus. This is what you stored inside the museum. The symbolism of the drawing explains a posteriori the feeling of the children. This is what you do with a teacher when you visit the museum. And now A for analytical. You can extract from this drawing the pattern, which are either normal pattern, normal meaning common pattern, or exceptional pattern, meaning outliers pattern. You can go to a behavior science specialist in order to ask, please, could you explain to us what are these type of exceptional pattern? You can make statistics later when the children is back in school. You can make statistics just by asking to a child, please, could you draw a picture from this period? And then to connect to what is inside the COVID-19 museum. And naturally, at the end, you can imagine to find some fragile children with respect to this period, fragile in the sense fragilized by the lockdown, and probably to help them. Okay, just to go faster, we can have several examples of questionings. Caregiver facing the pandemic, teaching in lockdown, which actor to ensure continuity in lockdown? I recall you that you have had electricity, you have had internet, They were not arriving like this by magic. There were workers behind, and this is why you have been able to continue to work. Evolution of the cities. I'm in Paris, and I can promise you that the Paris has completely changed. More bike line, more terrace, etc., etc. And naturally, the question, lockdown or not lockdown, an international experience. So I don't want to go too much, but actually, we are building a project in France about patrimonializing the French health system reaction during the COVID-19 museum. And we are asked to bring this project at the European level. People who will be connected to us, they are welcome to send an email. So just to go further, open science, reproducible research, tag participatory keyword will be included, data science. We want to have all the project of data science, open project, embedded directly inside the COVID-19 museum, probably the need of a blockchain in order to respect privacy, supervised learning. What will allow the COVID-19 museum is to build the link between the digital artifacts and the object themselves. International, the museum is intended to be duplicated in its whole structure at the international because it's a distributed museum. So to summarize, the COVID-19 museum is a tool of analyzing at the service of human society, respectful of the actor who constitute it. It is involved in the unification in an open way of a collection of digital artifacts related to the pandemic. It provides the opportunity to analyze this trace in a reproducible way. It creates the link between the ontology of the collection, because as each actor can have a different ontology, we will have to build a meta-ontology. This is really a problem, or not a problem, but a research case. It will protect the knowledge inside directly the COVID-19 museum in order to respect reproducible research. However, it maintains the museography of each actors. It does not organize collection, does not analyze the collection, and in this sense will not be judge and jury. Now I will give
just please pay attention to the time, okay, to the duration.
Yeah. Slava, if you want to continue quickly.
Yeah, I will try to do it quickly. So now, just half of an hour ago, I did presentation on Archive in the Box that we built in SHOCK project, which is a European project. So we are using EOS compliant services, and now this is perfect use case, COVID-19 museum, and there is also implementation of some demonstration that we wanted to share with you. So it's just Dataverse, and in Dataverse, we're collecting different kinds of objects, some visual objects, and we started to collect data sets. Basically, any kind of COVID-related information could be deposited in Dataverse, and we're using artificial intelligence and machine learning to do named entity recognition, for example. So this is a first application that we created, and this is timeline connected to Dataverse. And we started to harvest news in French, in Dutch, and in other languages. And we're basically doing processing of media streams and collecting news and extracting information about COVID. And now it's visually placed on this nice timeline. So you can basically go back in time, like in museum, and you can see what was the situation in specific day, what was discussed, what was discussion, and how people saw that. And you can also see screenshots of newspapers at that time. And this is next demonstrator. You've just mentioned about drawings of children. So we also created a prototype that allows to upload drawings, and we hope that people will start to use it and will start to create own memory, and everything will go and will be archived in Dataverse. And yeah, last slide.
Last slide.
Yeah.
This is
So I can actually show this timeline working, but I think I don't have time anymore, right?
I can stop the sharing if you want.
Yeah. So Pedro,
Pedro, do we have time or not?
1 minute. 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Okay, I will try to be quick. Let me quickly share it, and you will understand what I mean. So this is our Dataverse instance, and this is how it works. So basically, these are events that we're collecting, and you're able just switch between newspapers and browse. You can also search in the content, and we do name entity recognition, like I said. So basically, we are building real museum, but it's virtual, and hopefully, after some time, we should be able to connect virtual reality headsets, and you should be able to see it just using virtual reality. So that's a kind of project that we're building. So if you're interested, just contact us, and there is a lot of interest from different people, and just you're welcome to contact us and to collaborate with us. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Many thanks.
Thanks a lot. So if you want to join, there is this two address, contact at covid19.museum and Dataverse at covid19.museum, such that you can join us. It's an open project, and we will be really glad to have you.
Yeah.
And what I forgot to mention, everything that we'll create in this project will share this Dataverse community. So this timeline explorer, I really believe that that's something must have for museums. So it will be also published as this open source license on GitHub, and will be shared. And hopefully it will be supported by Global Dataverse Community Consortium. Right, Jim?
Slava, always pushing for the community.
Thanks.
Thanks. Great implementation. So, so if there are comments, I think you can reply, Eve and Slava, and then maybe if we have time at the end. Okay. Let's go to the next presentation. So let's go to Austria, to the PI Dataverse, doing tests, data migrations, and other